guys, it's Katie with scrappingkatie.ctmh.com, and I am introducing you to a new video series that I will be doing over the next few weeks featuring the brand new Cricut collection from close to my heart called Everyday Moments. This Cricut collection debuted on March 1st, 2020, and currently can only be purchased using a Close to My Heart Consultant's Cricut affiliate link. I will post my link down in the description below so you can go grab this cartridge and make these projects alongside me. This Cricut collection features 21 pre-made layouts and cards made to make it easy on you when creating with your Cricut. So all you have to do is take the pre-designed layout or card, insert it into your design space, and send it to your cutter of choice. For these videos, will be using my Cricut Maker, but none of the tutorials or the tips and tricks that I show will be used for Maker specific settings. So you can use any Cricut cutter that you have as long as you have this Cricut collection. I will also be posting all my design space files if I've tweaked any of them down in the description of each video. So my plan is to take the 21 keys and work through them alphabetically. Now, there will be some days that there is not a layout or card for the corresponding letter of that day. On those instances, I will take a tip or technique, or maybe even do a design space tutorial featuring that next letter, and that's what we'll do using the images of this Cricut collection. If you are new to my channel and find that this inspires you, please consider subscribing and sign up for notifications by clicking that little gray bell by the subscribe button, and that way you'll be notified the next time I post one of these crafty videos. If you are hopping onto this video series mid-alphabet, please consider going all the way back to the front and catching up on the video so you can see all the wonderful images that are included with this Cricut collection. So let's get started with the very first project of this Everyday Moments A through Z video series. So here is a look at all the images that come with the Everyday Moments collection. Since today is the letter A, I'm going to be using this adventure layout. So I'm going to insert that into my project. And it's kind of hard to tell, but up here at the top, you can tell that this is already sized to 8.5 by 11. I want to use it on a 12 by 12 layout. So I am going to hide that back dark layer by clicking the eye icon over there on that right toolbar. And you can tell how much it changes this image. So here are the photos that I wanted to use for this adventure key for the Everyday Moments collection. And I've pulled out some other cardstocks, the Carolina and the Bluebird from Close to My Heart, as well as the mint that mimics the image in the cartridge. So one of the things that immediately drew me to this image was the color, that mint color, and the kind of monochromatic look. So I decided to stay with that. And so I've cut everything off camera, and then I'm just kind of sorting those smaller pieces so I can get ready to lay everything out on my base. I am using a White Daisy cardstock base for this layout, but I don't want a whole lot of white space. So I am putting these sunburst and laying them out on my layout, and then I'm going to take a pencil and kind of mark where they end on that left side, because I'm going to be using a watercolor technique to get rid of some of that white space on this layout. So I am going to adhere these two starbursts down together, hopefully to make it easy to move, and then I thought it would make it easier to adhere them to my layout later on. So I'm going to be using the watercolor technique using packing tape. I'm just going to take my block and put my mint ink pad on there, as well as a mint shimmer brush. And all I got to do is squeeze it on that block and then use that packing material to kind of add that watercolor look to the base. I'm going to repeat this process until I am happy with the splotches that are left. And I don't do this very often. You can see me kind of bobble that around there. And then I finally kind of figured out how to make it stick. So I'm pretty happy with the end result. So before cleaning up, I'm going to take my mint shimmer brush again and just flick it to add some paint splatter. And then I'm going to clean everything up to make sure that nothing else that I don't want to get inky gets inky. And I'm just doing so by using my stamp chamois from Close to My Heart. And then I'm going to start assembling the title for this layout while that base dries. So again, this is the Adventure Key, and titled such because of the title, or named such because of the title Adventure. And so these come in two parts. You've got the thicker letter, which is cut from candy apple cardstock. Sorry, I'm so used to saying cranberry for 17 years. And then you've got the thin letters that are cut using the white daisy cardstock. And so all I'm doing is applying liquid glass to those white pieces, and they are pretty thin. Hindsight 2020, next time I will probably slice that thin line out of that larger letter and then back it with some white cardstock cut to the same shape. And I think that would just be a whole lot easier than trying to adhere these letters down using any type of adhesive. Even if you had a fine tip adhesive, I think it would be pretty difficult. So I managed to get enough adhesive on these to adhere them down without a whole lot of spillage, which kind of surprised me, again, because they are just so thin, but I love the look. Absolutely love the look. And most of the images in this Cricut collection are kind of a new style for Close to My Heart, which I'm so excited about, and this title is one of them. So there's also a little clip in this image, and so I'm going to adhere that little white piece to the top of the clip. I don't end up using the clip simply because a paper clip just really doesn't go well with carnival rides. So I'm just adhering this arrow patterned B&T on top of some white daisy, and that is a darker lagoon color, and it's from one of our older paper collections. And then I've got 2 pennants from that same mint cardstock, as well as 3 circles with some X's or crosses cut out of them. So there you can see the shimmer from that mint shimmer brush. And then right here, I am just applying adhesive to that bottom layer of that sunburst. And I'm going to lay it down. Now here's where I thought by adhering those 2 layers together by the center of that starburst would make it easy to lay this down, but not so much. So again, if I were to remake this particular project, I would probably lay down 1 layer at a time. And that is because even though it's a sunburst and it kind of has that asymmetrical look to it, a lot of these pieces are meant to line up evenly with the edges or the top and the bottom of the layout. And I just found that it was really hard to get that done because I had added adhesive to all the pieces and tried to lay them down all at once. So again, right here, any type of tape runner would work. I'm using my ATG gun. Probably the pieces are too big to use a liquid adhesive, but by all means, use what you're comfortable with and what you've come to love on your projects. So right now we have all the sunburst in place. Again, it's good enough for me, so I'm going to leave it and not have to try to remake it. And so right here, this photo I printed from home, and so I had to cut quite a bit off the top and the bottom. So it's not going to fit perfectly on that 4x6 photo mat. So I'm just going to trim it down, attach it to that white daisy photo mat, and then trim down that white daisy piece as well. And then it also gets backed on another piece of mint cardstock. Now right there, I was trying to decide whether I wanted to use the dark side or the light side, but I ended up using the light side as shown in the image for this key. So I'm going to lay down all the smaller pieces first before I start adhering to make sure that I have them where I want them. So as you can see on my tablet, the title for this particular layout is on the right side of the layout. I thought since my photo, the kids are looking to the left, I definitely wanted to put the title on the right side of the layout. But then I also wanted to kind of flip those little details, that little arrow strip, as well as those pennants. And so I flipped those to the right in the title on the left. And right here, I'm just trying to create a visual triangle with those little cutouts that came from that arrow strip. So I'm happy with all the placement, so I'm going to start adhering everything down. Everything, for the most part, is adhered with a tape runner. No dimension. I felt that the paint splatter as well as the sunburst added enough dimension. And as always, I always kind of leave some space around my photo so I can tuck things in and under and behind my photos easily after I adhere my photo down. So right here on the title, I decided to start the A off the photo. And I am just using regular tape adhesive, and then I'm using my T-ruler to make sure they line up across the bottom. So in between the letters, there's really no direct or exact science. I'm just kind of eyeballing in between the letters, but as long as they're straight along the bottom and kind of lined up with the letter groupings above them, I think it looks great. So I'm just going to finish adhering this title down, again, making sure that they are straight along the bottom and just eyeballing their placement with the letters above them. So I've got the title laid down, and then I'm going to start putting these little circles with the crosses or the X's. I'm going to position them on my layout where they are X's. And I've decided to back them with some Canary B&T from the Mix-In collection from Close to My Heart. And so what the Mix-In collection is it is designed to work really well with the other collections in the catalog. So this Canary matches really well with the Seize the Day paper collection, but as you can see here, it does not have to be grouped with anything. It can just be used with anything that you want it to be used with. So now I'm going to start adhering those little arrows down. I'm trying to decide where I want these circles to be. And as you can see on the tablet, on my image, that adventure layout hid that center of the starburst. So I still wanted it hidden somewhat, so I decided to do that largest circle there and then kind of put the other ones in opposite corners to create that visual triangle that's so pleasing to the eye. If you're wondering where the yellow is coming from, I don't know if you can see, but in the photo, the seats have red and yellow on them. And so that's why I wanted to pull in that yellow. I'm using liquid Tombow adhesive for these little arrows because there's just tiny spots that they need to get in, and I didn't think my tape runner could do it. So I wanted to add some more embellishment, so I pulled out the Seize the Day enamel dots, and I was going to use the mint, but decided I wanted to pull in some more yellow. So I am searching my stash for some yellow enamel dots. In the end, I couldn't find any, so I'm going to decide to color them. So I just pulled out some of our white enamel dots and a couple of the Tri-Blend alcohol markers that we have. I pulled out the Citrus Blend, which is a light yellow, and then the Gold Brown Blend, which is kind of a darker yellow, light brown color. And that's the one I decided to go with. So you just color them really well and make sure you go around the edges of the enamel dots so you can see no white. So I'm going to pull these off and then just apply with liquid adhesive. Even though these are adhesive backed, I want to make sure that they really stay on this layout. So I just like to peel them off with my paper piercer and then put them where I want them. And then any of the liquid glass that oozes around the side, I'm just going to clean that up with a tiny little paintbrush. And so in the end, I'm pretty satisfied with what we have. I do try that little paper clip and it just doesn't go, but I do agree with the image. It does, that photo needs something at the top. So I've pulled one of the sun images from a card that I posted a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to use it. I'm going to back it with that same Mix-In B&T from those little bitty circles. And so I'm just going to trim around loosely and attach that to the back of the sun using a liquid adhesive. Now, as you can see, my circle isn't perfect, so I had to be really careful, and there isn't much room for that to attach to that sun. So when I add 3D foam adhesive, I'm going to make sure that it goes over into the yellow to really adhere that circle to that sun base. And this will add just the perfect bit of dimension. Like I said, this layout doesn't have a whole lot of added dimension. It's just natural with those sunburst and variations of that color and that monochromatic look. So before I add my sun, I decided I wanted some more red up there. So I am just taking regular red sewing thread. I cut off, I don't even know how much, but I just cut off enough and then just start balling it up and then adhere it to the layout. And then I'm going to place that sun on top and kind of play with those little tails to get that all perfect. And here is the layout. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. Don't forget to subscribe and sign up for notifications so you'll be alerted the next time I post a crafty video. Don't forget to check out all the videos in this Everyday Moments A through Z video series.